All right, so I got most of the card done here, as you can see. I'll try to turn the light up here so you can see I got most of the card done. I don't know if you can see it there. Done a good job. These are supposed to stand off. I'm assuming anytime there's a skirt bend to the wiring, that usually means that the component is supposed to stand off for heat. So I just made all these capacitors stand off, which is unfortunate because I did want to take these and solder them in reverse with the legs hanging over the top of the card so I could do my jumpers, because it's supposed to be mounted on that side, right? But I'm making my window. Oh, which I have to show you that I did it. It came out very good. It came out very great. I mean, if I do say so. But so, the height of these capacitors is not good for where, this will mount to the top plate. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to build a little block under each one of these and paste them to the card, or just make a little wiring harness. I haven't decided yet. I do like the idea of mounting it to the card and just having little jumpers go over. Because basically, for instance, if I was to put this on the side of the card and solder it where the legs go, would be the same thing as if I turn it over the card like that, solder the ground pins or the mounting pins, and then just jumper doop, to the same holes with a little jumper, which is way more solid than a wiring harness. I would like to do that, but I cannot because of the height of this. So I have to check the height of my box and see if I can afford to put a block on top of these, underneath these, and then paste it to the board, and then jumper the ground points. I'm not sure they even need to be soldered, but maybe they do. I don't think they matter. But I think they're just for mounting purposes, those ground side lugs. But I'm going to, jumper one of the grounds anyway on each one and paste a little block on there if I have the depth in my box. All right, so first thing, whilst I'm remembering, values, these directions I showed in the other video. Hold on, I don't want to lose these diodes. These are very important. All right. The value, this is the directions. It's very vague. The wiring shows the coloring, and whilst that helps me in some ways, because this says 9 volt, 9 volt, 9 volt, and this shows, you put your hot, your ground, and your whatever that would be, your bus jumper, or whatever that extra wire is there. So it shows, I don't know the names of things. I just paste them together, as you can see. So it shows me there, what colors of wires and where they go, but it doesn't tell me how to do it. So if this direction was combinated with the old directions from the other circuits that I did, that would be excellent, but it's not. So, and whilst at the same time the drawing did afford me, like I was able to see in this angular picture here, the direction of the directional capacitors. Because, for instance, instead of having a plus symbol, like the other cards would have a plus symbol, or the other diagram on the sheet would have a plus symbol, these did not have a plus symbol, but had a circle half shaded. Would I have known, I would have said, oh, half shaded must mean the positive side. Half shaded is not. It's the stripe side, which is the negative side, the short leg. So I had to figure that out. I had one little instance here where I went a little wild, and I was like, oh, these are all my 1 UF, or my 1, whatever that's called, a microfarad. I don't know all the words yet. And I said, oh, just go to town soldering, but these two are 47 UF. And there it is, unsoldering and then trying to poke back through wet solder, new components. Oh, no. What a disaster. But it came out fine. Here's my soldering. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to... Hold on, let me move this direction sheet out of the way. Direction sheet helps a little, but mostly with visuals, but not specifics. I'll bring this over by the light. Here's my soldering. It came out mostly excellent. This is where's the spot? Where's the spot I did all that insane heating? Right here. Which is not that bad, honestly. I'm just hoping I didn't connect any of these traces. This card is visually I didn't, but I hope I didn't break any traces by heating. But I don't think so. This card is way closer together than the other cards were, like as far as how close together the solder points are. They're very small. All right, so here's what happens. I had to do the art of deduction again all over the place, mostly with these capacitors, with this picofarad capacitors, this little polyester picofarad capacitor, and this little, I guess they call that the mustard or tantalum, whatever they call that, I'm not sure. But all these capacitors, they had value, not all of them, most of them had value differences. Like for instance, 100 was 104, which I was like, oh, all right. I'm not going to assume anything, so I kept putting stuff to the side until I had a whole bunch of things to decide and realized, like, wow, all right, so there are some serious substitutions here. This was the most serious substitution, which surprised me. This was like a 3, whatever it says there, 3, I don't know if I can even still see it. Hold on. It is, nah, yeah, 321p, which is a picofarad. But visually in this photo, I can see that that's where the little translucent chiclet goes. And this is an 821 picofarad. So, I mean, that's a huge difference. But I said, wow, that's some substitution. But these, and I'm going to go back to these. I'm going to set this to the side. These, I'm going to pick the worst of the worst here. These were the ones I was showing you before. These are what's known as seconds. These never would have been sold as new. What? I'm trying to turn it so you can see it. Where's the worst side of it here? See if I turn it slow, perhaps you can see. You can see how wavy and warped that is. I mean, can't see any writing on it, can't see the stripes, but you can, because it's transparent, see all the, the coil or the foil inside of it. So I'm going to test these right now. These legs are very oxidized. These definitely are old stock. You can see it in there. But yeah, look how warped that is. See? Well, they look melted almost. Well, that's how they came out, made. There's nothing can be done about that. All right, so I set my meter here. I'm just going to test these. And all right, that's backwards, which is good. I'm not getting a current. That means it's only one way. And there it is, 0.426. All right, so that's getting a reading. This one should be getting a similar reading. Thank you to the person who taught me on YouTube how to... All right, nothing that way, which means it's a one-way valve. That part's working. And this one's reading much different. This one is 0.568. So they are different values. I'm going to check this one again. So there's going to be some misbiasing there, but I don't know if that will matter. I mean, the whole point is to clip it, so it might turn out to be interesting. Well, they both read good. They both read as functional diodes. So, whilst I don't know what the readings should be, they're within, according to the person who taught me on YouTube how to read the diodes. Thank you very much. They should be within the proper range. So, now, directional. This is very important. However, this one's stripe on that side. This one is stripe on this side. On the bottom. Top, bottom. So, good luck finding the stripe, right? Whoa. Now, he told me the stripe is the negative side. Well, I'm a little confused. I guess I could test another diode to see. See, there was a lot of guesswork on this, and there was substituted values, and some of them were grossly substituted, which, didn't scare me, but like this for a beginner, this would be very hard to do for a beginner. Which I am. All right. So, wait a minute. Negative side, positive side. Check it this way. It should not get a reading, and it doesn't. All right, so COM is the negative, and that's the COM is the black. Oops. Check, check, check. Oops, touching too many things here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Just a moment. All right, there it is. All right, 583. So my negative goes on the stripe side. Stripe side is negative. Stripe side is negative, I think. I got to look at this closely now. Hold on. All right. Yep. Stripe side is negative. So basically what I'm doing is I'm comparing to another component because visually you cannot see anything. Is this the worst one? I don't even think that's the worst one. Where's the worst one? No, this is the worst one. See if you can see that, how warped that is. I'm spinning it here. And you can't denote any reading on it. So negative side is stripe side. So this will tell me what, yeah, there's nothing I can see on here. Nothing. So I'm just going to test it, and that will tell me what my negative side is. All right. No reading. So, all right, I got a reading. So this side is my negative side. The side with the copper color is my negative side. So that will go stripe side. Negative side is stripe side. Goes that way. I want to be gentle with these ones because these are old stock. Whilst they never would have been sold as new, they are new old stock. So I'm going to be very gentle with them. Yank them and rip them down in there. Now what I was telling you that I do, I don't know if you can see it in here. See if I turn the light up. I aim, when I bend my wires, I aim them away from anything that it would want to solder to. These are very close together, so I definitely want to do that. Now, that should be stripe side, top side, and as we checked on we together checked on the other one, negative was stripe side, so this should be this way and get a reading, and it does. One more time because I'm moving too much. All right, yes, I definitely have that one in the right direction. That one goes stripe side up, that one goes stripe side down. So all right, I'm going to go ahead and solder this in place so I'm not fiddling around, bumping into each other. Sometimes when things are close together, I want to cut the leads. So when I solder, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure your tip is nice and tinned. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. See, that tip is nice and tinned. I ruined my last tip, but this one I've taken care of, and I cleaned it. All right, so you want to press into it, put some pressure up against the wire and the tinned soldering hole, and quickly apply solder more than you would think you would need. Just get it flowing there and zip. Oh, that's way too much. Hold on. Get some of that off there and hit it again with a little heat. I want to make sure it's good there. All right, that's good. I had way too much solder. My tip, I should have tinned my tip first with a little flowing solder. That's what happened there. All right, so I'm going to put a little pressure. Whoops. So you want to be careful not to scratch traces when you do that, because I have scratched traces doing that, slipping like that. So sometimes I'll turn it this way. Will help. There it goes. A little pressure and solder flow, more than I think, and boom. Oops. I said boom. I said kazam. All right, there it goes. Close enough. All right. Then these things come in handy. These are very good. These are those angled ones I showed you, the VCE link. You can find them on Amazon. They're super sharp hobby cutters. Can't cut guitar strings with them. You'll ruin them. But you can saw right through solder New York minute, which is very quick. All right. And I just look to make sure I'm not touching any other traces. Sometimes it's a little illusional because the flux will flow and it'll look like the solder joint is touching its neighbor, but it's not. So, all right, that guy's in there. Ooh, these are scary looking. All right, now this one I want to check with my meter. You can't see the meter anyway. Yeah, it's fine. The symbol for diode is an arrow into a plus, and it is actually found in the ohm section. If you know what the ohm symbol is, it's like that upside down horseshoe is the ohm, and it's an arrow with a plus. So now what I got to do here is I got to find the COM or the negative side, common or negative. All right, no flow that direction. That means that's a functional diode. It's a one-way valve. And all right, I'm getting a read that way. So this one with the black, this one does actually have a black stripe on it. And again, it is the copper colored side. One is a red colored side and one is a copper colored side. So copper colored side is my negative. And in this case, my stripe is on the bottom. So when I bend it, instead of bending it hard on one side, I'm going to try to get a little horseshoe going on there first. Oh no. You can't see anything I'm doing because it's so dark. Well, yeah, just try to get a little horseshoe going on, especially because this is new old stock and it would have never been sold as new because it's a melted, warped, misformed right out of the factory second, but it does have a reading, and supposedly the allure of this mysterious circuit is these new old stock diodes, which this particular company provided. And yes, I have 1982 chip and 1972 Texas Instruments chips, whatever the real year is, in my other pedals, and they sound great. Good. They sound good. All right. So these diodes, that's a little crammed in there, but I reckon it won't matter. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and solder that in. Now, this time I'm going to put a little solder on my tip first because that was part of wait a minute. Got to get this level to the work, this magnifying glass, or else it gives a warped feel. All right, a little solder on the tip, wipe off the excess, and hit it. I don't want to hold the heat too long. That's already longer than probably should be, but wait a minute. Not very successful there for some reason. All right, I'm starting over. Hold on. Maybe I changed the heat on my iron. It looks like it could go up just a touch, just a scotch. All right. Make a liar out of me. Everything else here, I mean, you could tell are soldered. It's all soldered. I don't know what's going on now. Maybe this is this. You know what it is? I know what it is. You know what it is, and I know what it is. And I know that you know that I know what it is. It's because of what I told you. These legs are oxidized. I totally should have sanded them with a little piece of what is called emery cloth or superfine sandpaper. That's what it is. That's why they're not soldering. Hello. That's why. I should have cleaned these legs with some alcohol and some sandpaper, but I did not. The flux should do that. All right, yeah, there. That one got good. That one bit good. I'm just going to add a little heat to this one. I hate to put the heat back on it as if they weren't melted enough already. All right, that's beautiful. That's it. And that one, also beautiful. And that one. Well, and that's the other thing too. Like I was taking notes when I did my first couple ones, and I hope this is recording. Yeah, it is. And I put a little circle on the paper, like, all right, I had some trouble in that area, in case I have a problem and I have to go back and say, what's going on there? That was an area I had problems. So I already know, like I had a few problems around these capacitors here, where I put the wrong ones in and had to switch them, which I think I've got that rectified. And I had some problems around here because these legs were very, I can't show you in the video. They're very oxidized. I mean, these are definitely old stock. Definitely old. Well, I mean, they could have been in a place close to the ocean. That's possible. Or close to some body of salt water, whether it was the ocean or Lake Mysterious, which is another whole story. All right. So what I do is I just look close and I make sure nothing's touching where it's not supposed to be. And directionally, I have those correct. One up, one down. So the whole card is done here, except for my wires and everything. So it does not show me how to hook up the switch, but I'm realizing what I want to do is I want to hook it up with a little switch for buffered or bypass. Since the buffer is already here, wherever it is, maybe this last section here, I don't know. Since the buffer is already here in the circuit, I might as well hook up the switch with a little switch like the KTR pedal, right? The one that got stolen in the mail or is not arrived yet and is on a very, very, very slow boat from China. So, no, I did not pay $500 to $3,000 for it. I paid, I don't want to tell you what I paid for it. I paid a very low amount for it. So it may be on that very slow boat from China. I paid $61 and some change for it. I was going to demo it, sell it, and donate it to charity. So, well, it has not yet arrived. So yeah, I might do that. I might put a switch and buffer or not buffer. All right, that could be cool. That could be cool. All right, so the card is done. That's boom. Like I said, and I said it incorrectly. I said the cards are easy. Cards are not easy. I should never have said that. So don't take my word for it. May this discourage or discourage you. Use your own brain. Right? Like I keep saying. Thank you to people who post things like how to check diodes. Now you know how to check diodes to see if they're working, you know, as far as what their value should actually read. I don't know. These two read slightly different. I wouldn't say grossly different, but slightly different. So card is done with the exception of wiring. So what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to figure out how big of a block. Here, I'm going to put the light up like this. I'm going to figure out how big of a block I need on this here and mock one up, you know, with a little block. I'm not going to paste it. I'll just hold it on there. And I'm going to check my height and I'm going to see if I have that depth available in my box. And if I do not, this is how I want to do it, with the legs hanging over the top and then jumpered, that's way, way the most stable way to do it, rather than have, you know, all these little legs, have to harness them and shrink wrap each one of them, and which I might do anyway, for looks maybe, but with the jumper it won't matter because it's fixed to the board. It's not going to be moving around inside there. I'm going to see what I'm going to do. I got to see if I have the depth to do it the way I want to do it. Because remember, this is in reverse. And the only thing that's going to happen, now if I had mount this on the pot this way, two things will happen. It either won't work or, you know, everything will work counterclockwise, which I'm not doing that. That wouldn't be cool. So, because I want to see this card would normally go this way inside to the top with these soldered directly on. But I want to see this, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do the block thing, and I'm going to check my height. I don't put these where I don't need them. I'm going to check my height. All right, I want to show you the box here. Here's the bottom. Here is the box. Cool, right? How cool is that? You know, nice and rounded around the corners. Paste it on here. I should have put paste all the way around because it changed, you know, color on the corners, which I'm afraid to pop it off now because, you know, it might rip paint with it or take some of the plastic with it. This is strong stuff. See, you could totally bang on a stomp switch on that. But this still would be prototypical. I wouldn't market this. This would have to be a little bit thicker and much stronger stuff. But this is very strong. This is way stronger than what I put on the other pedal. And I did manage to keep this paint here. Although when I was filing, I did get some scrapes and stuff on it. There are some scrape marks, but they're not bad. So I managed to keep the paint, and I kept that nice writing here, which says in out 9 volt with the little tip negative symbol, which is cool because there's no way I could have wrote that really small. So, and the color is nice. I like this color. In different lights, it looks different. It looks gold. It looks green. It looks putty. Right here, it looks putty colored. So there's my clear top. Take this off here. I don't need it on there anymore. That was to show me which was the face side. Cool, right? Visual enclosure, and what you're going to see, basically, is everything. What you're going to see. Wait a minute. Get it in the light here. Where the light is. Wait a minute. Who's that? John Mayer. Yeah. Where the light is. There, how's that? Sweet. With a capital whoa. Right? Look at that. How cool is that, eh? And I can make it so it spins, or it does flips like this. Could put a bottle rocket on it and launch it into space. No, the whole point is, I did all of this. I'm very proud of it. It looks awesome. And I want to see it. And now I can. Hello. How cool is this? Not the bed. It does not look bad. This one came out awesome. Yeah, there's the bottom. This box fits very well. I don't know if there's any blundered screws in this kit. There was one blundered screw in each kit of the other ones. My complaints with these kits are minimal compared to the quality of the circuits. And obviously, right? I mean, if this works, I mean, those are totally old stock. Whilst they're seconds, they do read and they are functional, and they're totally old stock. So cool. And yes, there's 272 Texas Instruments chips and a third chip, which I don't recognize the numbers on right now. So how cool is that, eh? They're aiming for something here. Somebody meant to put some interesting components in this kit. So you will see the entire switch. The entire switch will be seen. See if I can. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see that. The switch will be here or wherever I decide to put it. Actually, choice is mine at this point. So yeah. So normally this card would have been this way toward the top, which wouldn't be bad either because you'd see all my cool solder joints. But this way you'll see the little populated city there, the little Lilliputian city with these new old stock. What do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds of diodes. Well, I'm counting a light emitting diode. Let's not count that. 3 different types of circuit diodes and very old stock clipping diodes. Now, I'm not sure about circuits, but this must be how this works. Well, not must be. It's probably. I remember reading about this circuit. Which one is it? It's this one. Can you see that on there? This one has 6 legs, not counting these grounding legs. It has 6 legs. So they were saying the clipping diodes kick in after a certain point. So this one's probably for the gain. I don't know. I haven't investigated it yet. All right, so that's where I'm at. Excuse me. It's very dry in here. Again, they're killing me. They are literally killing me on purpose. Well, I miss my children. I miss my children. If my children see any of these videos, you cannot watch the ones that say explicit. However, you can watch this one because it does not. And I love you very much. And I miss you very much. Yeah, that's about that. All right, so there we go. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that encourages or discourages you from whatever you're deciding to do. And yes, see, I got a template here for where the holes are drilled if I do decide to mount these to the card. But I don't know. I'm going to see what I do. And yes, they gave me another little card here. It says, do your music world together with us, Land Tone. Thank you for my dear friends. And then tells you here how to contact them if you need help with anything. Do not hesitate to contact us. I did a lot of this figure myself, and this substitution is huge here. I mean, what was it, a 321 to an 821. That's a huge difference in numerical value, I would assume. But that's definitely where that one goes. And I know there was that one major substitution on that delay card, which may be the reason that circuit was so much brighter. And I honestly like brighter. If you're interested in this one, this was known as Gold Upgrade. Gold Upgrade on Amazon. So it's a Klon, DIY Klon, KLON, and it's a Gold Upgrade. So possibly, I won't say apparently, possibly they did some research here, because these are definitely not new diodes. Whilst they're not used, they're definitely not, recent. And neither are those chips. All right, so I'm excited. There's those brown rubber feet again. These brown rubber feet are so grippy. I like that brown rubber. That's about that. I can look at this chip real quick before we go. Let's see. Yeah, it's not easy to share. It's a lot of work, but all the people that shared have sure helped me. So I hope this helps you. Even if you don't make pedals, you're like, all right, so I get this out of here. These are both Texas Instruments 72, which I'd assume is a 1972, and the other one was a 1982, according to the so-called clock, which is wrong. All clocks are wrong. All clocks are wrong. Light bulbs in the sky are wrong. All right, TL072CP, that's these chips. Computer chip CP. This one is different. This one has what is that, an I, like international? What is that? It is. It's an I, like international truck company, CPAZ, CPAZ. This one is called a 76. I'm having to use my little tiny magnifier through the big magnifier. So I'm like triply magnifying here. 76605 V2362AR. And it's an I symbol, like international trucks, like tractor trailers or farm equipment. All right. So that's that. I did put the heat sink coil in here so I would stop slamming my tip in the jar. Oops. I have my tip jar here. Wait a minute. Can you see? Where's my hand? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so I put that in there so I would stop slamming the tip in the jar. And as you can see, I'll put the light on it. Where the light is. The tip is nice and tinned and is not smashed and doing very well. That's after soldering an entire card. So it's hanging. Actually, that one's after soldering 2 cards. So I'm learning to take care of my stuff here and keep cleaning it. And I remember, with the dampness, even when we were doing plumbing work, one trick that one of the old plumbers taught me was to keep a damp rag in your pocket. And when you're sweating copper pipes that are going to be seen in the bathroom, like coming out of the back of the toilet, out of the floor or the wall, you would see that little section of copper and it wouldn't get a covering or a sleeve on it. You would want it to be beautiful. So you would, you'd sweat it. And instead of leaving it, you'd take your wet rag, your damp rag, and you'd wipe it so all the solder would go nice and clean around it. And basically that's the same thing that I do to this tip, which is why it's actually lasting this time. So it's staying nice and tinned. I haven't had to dip it in the flux pot yet. It's staying tinned, so that's good. And I'm not smashing it because I put the coil in here. So that's about it for now. That's the headway. So I'm excited. You will be able to see everything in this box. So I'm going to be creative about how I put my battery. I don't have any more of those battery clips, but I probably could get one somewhere. I might have something laying around. I can make a battery clip, or I can make a little foam enclosure to house the battery and you can actually see it from the side. I'm going to try to make this as neat as possible, so it's like a piece of visual art as well as, hopefully a functional pedal. All right. Well, I hope that helps you. I don't know. I don't say, click like, ring a bell, thanks for watching. I don't care about any of that stuff. I hope that, I definitely didn't waste my time because I'm going to watch this video back and be like, oh, yeah, cool. I'm learning by sharing with you. So that's why I'm doing it. And hopefully that helps you. All right, bye. Over.